beautiful day it is outside.
I know, right? It's perfect for cloud watching. Don't y'all just love clouds? They're light, fluffy, and they're made out of cotton candy.
Wait, hold up. Clouds aren't made of cotton candy.
Well, if they're not made of cotton candy, then what are they made of?
Let's find out on today's Sunday Science.
Have you ever thought about where rain comes from? Or how it and clouds are formed? Well, it's all centered around the water cycle. Today, we will dive deep into how clouds are formed, types of clouds, and some other interesting cloud facts, along with a little experiment to wrap it all up. Our very own sun is a catalyst that begins the water cycle. The sun heats up the Earth's rivers and oceans, turning water into water vapor that rises up and into the air. This process is known as the first step of the water cycle, and it's known as evaporation. When the water vapor reaches high enough into the air, it transforms into tiny droplets of water. These water droplets join with surrounding gases and dust particles to form clouds. This process is called condensation. Now, I'll hand it over to Sanika, who will talk about the rest of the water cycle.
What happens after condensation? Precipitation. When the clouds get heavy and can't hold any more rain, it starts to let it go in the form of rain, hail, and snow. As it rains, water is collected into oceans, lakes, rivers, or seeps into the soil and becomes groundwater. And this process starts all over again. Hence, the water cycle is a continuous process of condensation, evaporation, and precipitation. Some fun facts. Did you know that plants sweat? That's called transpiration. That's why it rains more in places with more trees, like forests. Sometimes snow directly turns into water vapor without melting. That's called sublimation. This happens a lot in colder countries.
For this experiment, the first thing that you're going to want to do is fill a jar with warm water and stir it. The warm water will form water vapor through a process called evaporation. You won't be able to see the water vapor though, because it's an invisible gas. The next step is going to be to ask an adult to light a match and to blow it out quickly and drop it into the jar. The smoke particles will provide a surface for the water to condense onto. As soon as you do that, immediately place an ice-filled metal tray or a hard plastic frozen ice pack onto the top of the jar, or like we used, a cold plate. Next, you can watch the cloud appear. The cloud will appear inside of the jar, and it'll look misty and white. This will happen because the warm water vapor mixes with the air and smoke particles, and it rises in the jar. As soon as you take the cold plate off, though, you can watch as the cloud disappears.
This exact process occurs naturally in our environment. The particles aren't always from smoke. They can be particles of various materials, including dust and pollution. Evaporated water condenses to form clouds. These clouds may later produce rain or snow, which is commonly called precipitation. Together, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation play an important role in our water cycle. Many different clouds lay in different heights and have certain names describing how they look and feel. The high-level clouds are about 20,000 feet and include the cirrus,
cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus clouds. The low-level clouds are lower than 6,500 feet and consist of the stratus and stratocumulus clouds, and the mid-level clouds are just in between, consisting of the altostratus, altocumulus, and nimbostratus clouds. With all these clouds, there are also vertical clouds that don't belong in any certain height range. They include the cumulus and cumulonimbus clouds. Now, these clouds are not named randomly. Like most words in the English language, the cloud names are based off of Latin roots. Stratus or strato means flat, layered, or smooth. Cumulus or cumulo means puffy or heaped up. And circus or circo means wispy and high up. Nimbus or nimbo means it might rain. And in total, there are 10 different types of clouds.
As explained earlier, there are 10 main cloud types. Let's understand some of the main characteristics of each cloud type. To start out, of the high height clouds, which are cirrus, cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus, cirrus clouds can be identified as thin and wispy. They are normally white and predict a pleasant weather. Cirrocumulus clouds are fluffy and can be identified to look like cotton balls. These clouds are usually seen in winter and indicate a fair but cold weather. In the tropical region, they may imply an approaching hurricane. Cirrostratus clouds are thin, sheet-like clouds that usually signify that rain is coming in the next day or so. Moving to the medium altitude clouds, which are altostratus, altocumulus, and nimbostratus. Altostratus clouds are blue-gray and composed of water droplets and ice crystals. They indicate heavy rain with continuous rain or snow very soon. Altocumulus clouds look small, white or gray, and puffy. If you see altocumulus on a humid morning, you can expect thunderstorms late in the afternoon. Nimbostratus clouds are gray, flattened, and uniform clouds associated with continuous rain or even snow. Thunder and lightning are usually not associated with nimbostratus clouds. The low clouds consist of stratus and stratocumulus clouds. Stratus clouds are flat and gray and may produce a light drizzle, while stratocumulus clouds are puffy gray clouds that produce rain and can turn into nimbostratus clouds. Lastly, the vertical clouds are cumulus and cumulonimbus. Cumulus clouds are big and white and puffy, signaling good weather, while cumulonimbus clouds are tall clouds that can cause violent thunderstorms, heavy rains, hail, and even tornadoes.
Why are clouds white? Clouds consist of billions of tiny water droplets. If you can recall, white light is made up of 7 different colors that also make up the rainbow: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. When the size of the cloud droplets becomes larger than the size of the visible light waves, mild scattering occurs, which causes and distributes the 7 colors equally on each cloud. This means that the incoming white light entering the cloud would reemerge as white light again. Therefore, that forms white clouds. Another question is, why are some clouds darker than others? Well, there are 2 reasons for that. Reason 1 is that the brightness of the cloud depends on the direction of the sunlight. We can test this out with a simple and basic experiment by shining a torchlight on a few bales of cotton from different directions in a dark room. The torch represents the sunlight and the cotton represents the clouds. Try shining the wool from the top, behind, and side, and you will get different shades of gray. Reason 2 is darker clouds are thicker and have heavier cloud droplets. These large droplets cause and absorb light better and prevent incoming sunlight from reaching the cloud's underside. Once the droplets are heavy enough, they will fall from the cloud as rain. That's why some clouds appear darker than others. Why do clouds float? Well, droplets of water are very small, but they have a lot of surface area that keeps them from falling. Even if they are small and light, they would eventually fall off if it wasn't for the warm air rising and keeping them up. Remember that clouds form when warm air rises and cools. This warm air keeps clouds afloat. I also wanted to tell you some cool facts about clouds. Number 1, a cloud that's near the ground is fog. Number 2, some clouds in the sky are caused by airplanes, which is called contrails.
Number 3, other planets that have atmospheres and that have clouds are Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. The fourth and really cool one are cirrus clouds that are at high level can travel at 100 miles per hour.
Thank you for watching,
And see you next time
on Sunday Science!